Hi, this is Chef Dave Bishop from the Chef to You with another Let's Talk Beef video. Today we're making a honey ginger pot roast. A delicious dish, takes about 3 hours to cook in the oven. This is a braising process, and I'll explain that as we're going along, what braising means and the concept behind it. Let's take a look at our ingredients. Today we're going to be using a bottom rump roast. As the name sounds, rump, that comes from the back leg of the cow, which is a less tender cut of beef. It's got a lot of connective tissue in it, so we're going to have to braise that piece of meat. What we're going to do is we're going to sear it for flavor. Then we're going to put it over here in this pot right here with a tight fitting lid, and it's going to slow cook it in the oven about 2 hours. Let's head to the stove top and sear this piece of meat. Let's go and put a rump roast in this saute pan with 2 tablespoons of olive oil. We're going to sear this on all 4 sides. That's going to help on coloring of the sauce. It's going to help on flavor of the meat. It's going to help keep those juices inside that piece of meat as it's cooking in a pot. Our roast has been seared. For time's sake, I didn't show you the whole time it was searing, but what I did is I actually picked the roast up and turned it on all the sides to make sure it's seared real good. See the browning? That's going to add in flavor. It helps seal some of those juices in. Let's go ahead and place this roast in this pot right here. Add 2 more tablespoons of olive oil. I have a 1/4 cup of diced carrots right here. Let's go ahead and put those in. I've got 1 cup of diced, coarsely diced onions. Don't have to be really small. Let's place those in the pot. 2 tablespoons of red wine vinegar. Let's stir those around just a few seconds. Let's go ahead and place the herbs in there. I have 1½ teaspoons of ginger, 1½ teaspoons of granulated garlic, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. Let's go ahead and put all that in there. Let's coat those really well. And our last 2 ingredients, what I have here is 2 cups of beef paste. You can buy a can of beef paste if you like, or you can make it with a beef concentrate, which I did here. Let's go ahead and add this to the pot. We're looking to deglaze our pan so that we can get all that flavor off the bottom of that pan. That's all going to be flavor that's going to go into that roast. Let's scrape the bottom. Let's make sure we get all the flavors off of there. The 2 ingredients, we put the beef stock in. Our last ingredients is a 1/4 cup of honey. What we'll do now is we're going to stir this really well and bring it just to a boil and put it over our roast. While this comes to a boil, let's talk real quick about what braising is. The concept behind braising is actually a mixture of moist heat cooking with the moisture of the liquid and a dry heat method by searing the meat first. Here, seasoned liquid. We're going to place it about 1/3 the height of this roast right here. We don't have to cover it, just about 1/3. The key behind it is a tight fitting lid. We're going to slow cook it, and it's going to break down that connective tissue and have a nice tender piece of meat. Braising a little bit different than other moist heat cooking methods. We're actually going to be using the stock that is with this roast as our gravy at the end. We're going to enjoy that. That's part of the flavor of this braising process. So let's go ahead and take our nice seasoned stock right here and pour it over the top. You see I got all the scrapings out of the bottom of that pan. We're going to take a tight fitting lid, place it on top. This is going to go in a 350-degree oven for 2 hours, and we'll check it for tenderness. You should be able to take a fork, stick a fork in it, and the fork come out without any pressure coming off of it. Ginger honey pot roast come out of the oven. Let's take our lid off. See that steam coming out? Beautiful roast here. Let's go ahead and take our roast out. Slowly move it over to the plate right here. Let's take the fork and just show you how tender that is. Put it in about 1/4 of the way and pulls right out. We're going to let this rest for about 15 to 20 minutes. We're going to come over here and make a gravy. Our broth from the roast is just about ready. While that was getting hot, I took 1/2 cup of cold water and 1/2 cup of flour, and I mixed that together. There's no lumps left in it. This is a whitewash. We're going to use this as our thickening agent today. You're going to use a judgment call on this depending on how much of the broth you have left over and desired thickness that you want. It came to a boil. Let's go ahead and pour a little bit of our whitewash in there and stir it around. check our thickness. For me, that's all we're going to need today. So we're going to set the rest of this aside. We're going to bring this back to a boil, and we're going to take it off the stove. Let's go ahead and cut our roast real thin. Let's go and put a pot roast on this tray and presentation for supper tonight. Let's take some of that good gravy we had, pour it right down here. We'll start right here and line up our roast. Let's go with some gravy right across the top. And there we have it. A honey ginger pot roast. Delicious dish. Takes about 2.5 hours. You can also do this in a crock pot. Sear your meat in the morning time. Put all your seasonings in the crock pot. Turn it on low. And let it cook all day. Come home and finish it just like we did. Beautiful meal with some fresh mashed potatoes next to it. Whole family's going to love it. Make sure you put a little bowl of gravy on the side because they're going to want a little extra gravy. This is Chef Dave Bishop, cooking and teaching. Till next time, may God bless.